This evening, the GSC says new executive represents a wide cross-section of Gibraltar. The Chief Minister and opposition leader clash over the conflicts of interest bill the GST are to vote against. First week of the Clayton Booster trial comes to an end, and Gibraltar-based gaming company Evoke confirms takeover. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The GST voted in its new executive at last night's AGM, although the new members have still not been made public. Party leader Keith Asopardi told GBC the new executive was made up of a good cross-section of Gibraltar, representatives from all sectors. News editor Christine Vasquez highlighted this executive's importance, seeing as it will be the one in place at the next general election.
Absolutely. I mean, we hold our party elections every 2 years. It's incredible how time passes. This is going to be the executive that, as from today, will be in place when the general election is called, and it will be the executive that selects the candidates for the next election. And therefore, a very important moment of democracy, internal democracy for the party.
Tell me how it works for the GST, because do you have to be in the executive to be able to stand with the party at the elections?
No, you don't. You have to be a party member for a certain period of time to offer yourself for candidature. It then gets assessed by the party executive. People get shortlisted and so on. But look, the important first aspect, which is today, we need to have the internal democracy done. Elections are held every 2 years. It's done in 2 rounds. Every party is different, of course. We do 2 rounds, first in March and now at the AGM. And at the end of tonight, we will have the executive in place, and the next meeting of the executive will take place on Monday, and it will be the new executive in place for the next election.
But you're not actually going to say at this moment who the executive is?
Well, we will communicate the results in our press release that we will issue after tonight, and it'll be clear who will be on the executive, and we will do so also and confirm the results of the motion to confer life membership on Daniel Feetham, together with releasing part of the vision of change that we set out today when I spoke to members.
And that life membership on Daniel Feetham, what exactly does that mean?
Well, it means that he will sit, if the motion is approved, he will sit on the executive as a life member. There are different types of membership of the executive. There are elected members of the executive. We have 16. There are the MPs are automatic members of the executive. Then there is a small group of life members, and there are some co-opted members. So at the moment, we've got 4 life members, and Danny would become a life member. So he would be able to sit on the executive, exercise his right to vote, and influence the decision-making of the executive in the normal way.
And actually be able to stand?
Yes, of course. Look, even if he wasn't on the executive, Danny Feetham, if he wanted to offer himself for candidature in the future, can do so. He is someone that, as I said tonight, deserves life membership for all the efforts he has done for the GSD, for all the reasons that I gave tonight, and I hope it is backed by members.
How happy are you with the executive?
I am very happy. I mean, I think we've got a good team of people in the MPs. We have a good mix of people in the current executive. Of course, this is internal democracy, so people will come and go from the executive because they get voted in, voted out. But I think everyone who has stood today can make a contribution, even if you're not selected. As I always tell people, you can make a contribution in different ways. I know they are keen to do so, whether or not they are selected. And I think we have a good cross-section of Gibraltar, representative of all sectors of Gibraltar on our current executive, and we will do so after tonight. And I'm very confident that going forward, this executive will choose the right candidates for the next election.
We've heard of new leadership in the GSLP and going forward with unity. Could the fact that you remain as leader work against you in that your party does not offer anything new?
Well, look, I mean, if Damaris Vasquez becomes the leader, I will congratulate her. Of course, it doesn't look like it's going to be a contested leadership election. We've done a number of contested leadership elections. I know we're in the age of social media, but that question is a bit peculiar. At the end of it, I have the democratic legitimacy of having won the leadership election in this party, contested twice. And I am here in this job because the members of the GSD want me to do this job, want me to lead the party into the next election. And that's precisely what we will do to vote for the change that Gibraltar needs.
And if an election were to be called early, would the GSD be ready?
Absolutely. We will be ready whenever it is. Indeed, there are things going on in the political panorama, either externally or internally in Gibraltar, that clearly indicate that it might be possible that there might be an early election. So, of course, we are factoring everything in, and we are getting ready, and we will be ready whenever the election is called.
The Chief Minister says the public can have full confidence in the Conflicts of Interest Bill, while the GSD leader says the opposition will not vote in favour of it. Speaking on last night's Viewpoint, Keith Asopardi described the proposed legislation as inappropriate. However, Fabian Picardo claims the bill is stronger than the Canadian model because it enshrines the 7 principles of public life in law.
The question is, do you go for something that is very pointed and tells you when you have to act in a particular way, or do you go for something that is more principles-based and is therefore potentially wider and therefore more effective because it captures the substance of the behaviour that you want to deal with rather than just dealing with the form that the sort of behaviour might manifest itself? Well, there were grey areas that Sir Peter Openshaw identified, and in my view, that was not what the inquiry was about. In my view, in certain instances, what was happening in the inquiry was that it was being turned into a political witch hunt by Mr. McGrail's lawyers, principally against me, perhaps others, but principally against me, failing to understand in the way that they were presenting the case for the purposes of seeking to be persuasive for their client, that indeed conflicts of interest had been very properly addressed in the context of what was happening there.
How much confidence can the public have in an independent act? Because you control a lot of the levers.
Yeah,
or whoever has your role.
Full confidence.
Full confidence.
Full confidence.
Explain why.
Because the position of the Chief Minister of Gibraltar has always enjoyed the full confidence of the people of Gibraltar, and it always should, whoever the Chief Minister may be. Look, this doesn't just do what the recommendation provides, it doesn't just do what it says on the tin, it actually brings principles into statute and is much wider in its ambit. So I very much look forward to this becoming a piece of legislation that will govern our public life for many years to come, and I think will become a model for many more common law jurisdictions going forward.
The principles do not create specific prohibitions. So what we're saying is, let's create those specific prohibitions. So when you leave government as a minister, you can't get a job or a consultancy with a government for a period of time, which is the Canadian restriction. Why don't we have restrictions in our law that say, if you are someone who is a minister or a public official or a party executive member of the current government, why is it that you are not either barred or restricted from the award of certain contracts? So that is all in the Canadian legislation. This did not start for us when Sir Peter Openshaw produced his report. We have been going on about the need to control conflicts of interest and abuse, waste and corruption since 2019, when we issued our commitments that are still live today, that there should be robust controls on these things in Gibraltar legislation.
How will you be voting on this bill?
Well, we will consider our position. We will make clear what our position is on the bill, as we said in our press release. But it's very clear to us that this is insufficient, and therefore we cannot vote for it. It is insufficient. It does not meet the mark. It is inappropriate for Gibraltar. Our view is that this does not go far enough in any way. And therefore, we are very concerned that all that this is lip service total lip service so that they can play to the gallery, pretend that they are implementing a framework for conflicts of interest, but in reality they have no commitment to do so.
The first week of the Clayton Booster trial has come to the end, with the jury having heard evidence relating to 3 complainants. The former teacher and scout leader faces 19 counts of sexual offences against children said to have taken place between 2007 and 2016. Mr. Booster has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
The trial began with jurors hearing the police interview of the first complainant, known in court as Mr. A. He was 14 when the abuse was said to have started, and of the 19 charges, 11 relate to him. Mr. A alleged repeated sexual encounters with the defendant during his teenage years and told police he felt exploited at an age when he was exploring his sexuality. However, the defence put it to the first complainant that he was not abused, but had been in a relationship with the defendant. The jury then heard the police interview and live evidence from the second complainant, referred to as Mr. X. 5 charges relate to him. He described the defendant as a monster and alleged the former teacher sent him sexual images when he was 17. He also said Mr. Booster asked him to send sexual images in return, but he never did. In cross-examination, Chris Finch-Marsh asked Mr. X if he had discussed details with another complainant and agreed to join together in an attack on Clayton Booster, which he denied. Finally, on day 5, the jury began listening to the police interview of a third complainant, known in the court as Mr. Y. He alleges Mr. Booster, who was then his teacher and scout leader, sent him emails containing sexual images. The complainants are entitled to lifelong anonymity under laws protecting alleged victims in sexual offence cases. The trial continues.
Recent statistics from the RGP show that fraud losses in Gibraltar amounted to £2.6 million so far this year, leading up to the month of May. Police and banks regularly send out warnings about the dangers of fraud, but it continues to be an ongoing concern for the banking sector and for the members of the public. Members of Gibraltar's Banking Association spoke to Kellyanne Borge on Gibraltar Today as they encouraged bank clients on the Rock to keep their guard up.
So we've recently launched our GBA strategy, which is focused on 3 pillars: protect, educate and promote. And in terms of these 3 pillars, I guess we're here today to talk about the protection piece, which is around fraud prevention, which is a hot topic at the moment. It's something which we need to have greater outreach to our customers so that we can educate them and protect them from what is becoming, a very sophisticated fraud system.
From my perspective, we are seeing a decrease overall in the kind of successful attempts, but the volume of attempts that are coming in and the sophistication of them has really increased over time. So that's why it's so important to get the message across, not just communicating how the banks can protect you, but also what customers can do locally in Gibraltar to help themselves as well. For customers in vulnerable situations, our message is always clear: please come and speak to us. It's one of the benefits of being based in Gibraltar. We're always kind of 10 minutes away. We're on Limewall Road. Come and speak to us. Come and see us if you've got any concerns about it, and we're happy to help.
What is some of the key advice that you'd like people to hear today?
I think there's an element, as we say, to slow down, no matter who calls you on the phone, wherever they say they're from and what details they may know about you. Slow down, because it's the key thing that can actually put off the scammers from going forward and gives you a chance to actually reflect on whether this makes sense or not. And I think just following on your demographic question, this again, it can happen to anyone. And obviously, as Pete says, there are vulnerable clients that are potentially more exposed, but anyone could fall for a scam because they get caught whilst picking up their kids from school, and it's an inconvenient time, and you may get distracted. And again, as I said, when you hear fraud, the alarm bells go off. And again, that's why it's just so important to slow them down more than anything.
When we look at the data of when most people get contacted, it tends to be at really inconvenient times, and that's on purpose.
Like you said, the school drop-off time or pick-up time.
Friday afternoons when people in Gibraltar are busy, they're preparing for the weekend, and sometimes they're caught off guard. That is a very common time.
Holiday season.
Holidays.
Season is definitely one of the most vulnerable times for customers because they're busy, preoccupied, packing the suitcases. Fraudsters know this. So
perhaps on Christmas as well, when stresses are high in a way.
Exactly. So I think when you're busy and when you're preoccupied, I think that's when you need to have your guard up the most.
There's a big part of this which is also around creating fear for the customers. So that's why it's important. We talk about it through our Safeguard Gibraltar campaign, but really focusing on pausing, verifying who you're speaking to, and making sure that as a customer you are clear that you're being contacted from the bank and not from a scammer, because that fear and that real intimidation tactic to act now is a key pressure factor that these scammers use in order to be successful with them.
And the key message is that your bank will never ask you to disclose these passwords, your PIN numbers. If you feel pressured, if you don't recognise the number, our message is very simple. Don't disclose, hang up, and call back your bank using a verified number.
Gibraltar-based gaming company Evoke has agreed to a £243 million takeover by Bally's Intralot, the Greek lottery and gaming operator. Bally's has extensive international operations, including an office in Gibraltar. The deal follows months of discussions after Evoke, which owns bookmaker William Hill and the 888 online casino brand, launched a strategic review following the UK rise in gambling tax.
Evoke is listed on the London Stock Exchange and owns several well-known gambling brands, including William Hill and 888. Athens-listed Bally's Intralot and Evoke have agreed to an all-share transaction after months of negotiations. The deal comes after the UK government increased gambling duties, a move the industry warned could lead to job closures and job losses. The recommended offer values Evoke at 52 pence per share, representing a 138% premium to its closing share price on the 9th of December. Shareholders will also have the option of taking cash instead of shares. Bally's Intralot said the market disruption caused by higher taxes presented a significant opportunity for consolidation. Evoke chairman Mark Summerfield said the deal would deliver long-term value for shareholders.
You're watching GBC News. Still to come, the first green roof bus stop in Gibraltar is inaugurated by the Horticultural Society and O2 magazine. And Gibraltar scores its first goal in the Women's World Cup qualifiers. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Rock's first green roof bus stop has been inaugurated by the Horticultural Society and O2 magazine. It's the first of a series which will hopefully be rolled out after the summer.
So the benefits for a green roof is, as you can imagine, World Environment Day today, so it's to help the environment, lessen the carbon emissions. Obviously, it's a carbon capture. Biodiversity, which is always important to be improving and the population of it, as well as the temperature in the bus stop itself. You know, you can imagine that if you go underneath a tree, there's automatically 2.5 degrees less. So in every bus stop that will be a green roof, you will have less temperature, so it will be more pleasant to be in a bus stop.
Okay, now these green roofs require a little bit of maintenance. How is that carried out?
Okay, at the moment, basically they're going to be, because there are no water points in some of these areas, so they will actually be done by hand, and it will be just a tank and a sprayer. So it takes minimum maintenance. Obviously, the summer months are more intense, but come winter, it's self-maintaining almost because of the plants that we have selected, which are drought resistant. And that's very important from this place to make sure that the plants are resistant to the heat.
Okay, so there's more coming up. Tell us where you're going to be placing them.
So we have a few more in Linewall. We have Waterport. We have Airport.
The airport, yes.
We have a referendum house. I think
that's
that
right.
bus stop as well is
we
coming.
have Waterport as well. There's one there.
Another one, and another one, St. Bernard's Hospital as well. So there's plenty more coming. What we wanted to do is release this one for World Environment Day, and then we're going to be maintaining this one in the summer months. And the rest of them are going to be launched as from September onwards. So it's really exciting year ahead for green bus stops.
And you've got your sponsors lined up as well to fund them.
Yes, absolutely. We do have the sponsors for the next 8, so to speak. And of course, we are looking for more sponsors because this can't happen without the sponsors. Obviously, the money goes completely to actually putting the green roof on. And yes, if anybody is interested, any businesses, and they want to contribute, well, please give us an email or call me, and we are ready to go whenever they are ready to go.
Students over at Prior Park are once again showcasing their GCSE and A-level artworks at this school's summer showcase. Held at the Art Space at the old police station, the exhibition celebrates the students' creativity and talent across visual art, photography, music and more.
From paintings to sketches to photography, the Prior Park Summer Art Showcase puts the students' hard work for all to see. At a private viewing we attended, friends and family enjoyed a first glance at the impressive creations on display. For many, it was their first time showcasing their work for the public.
I did it about my culture, my Jewish culture. I found it really interesting to do it, and I think the thing that inspired me the most would be all of my childhood memory and reconnecting with it, especially after moving here to Jeeb.
And how does it feel to have it displayed?
It feels amazing. I'm really happy. Like, I never thought it's gonna happen.
I mean, like, I mainly paint like lots of flowers. Recently I've painted quite a bit of like food. So like my art was just down there. Like I've got more like, I've kept it very like Mediterranean and traditional because I decided for my A-level art to pick like Mediterranean culture, and I kind of just based it all on that. I tried to pick lots of Gibraltarian artists, so I did Monica Poplin as one of mine. I did her for my final piece also.
My theme of my art is cultural heritage. So obviously I'm from Gibraltar, so I wanted to do local Gibraltarian artists just like my sister. So I started with doing one of the local Gibraltarian artists called Monica Poplin. And one of my artworks that is inspired by her is on display. And it just feels so surreal, like it's so incredible to have my work being displayed for so many people to look at it. And I'm really proud that it gets to be displayed, so yeah.
Well, actually, it was actually Penny, to be fair. I didn't really want to do GCSE art. Penny was like, no, you should do it, like you're good at drawing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And like my first art lesson, I fell in love with it. I started experimenting with biro drawings. It's not specifically here, but I have a skull drawing done with fine liner, and it turned out I love that style of art, so we inverted it, and the one on display right now is my dad in pencil, like with a black background and white pencil.
Students choose their coursework direction and then have free rein to choose their topics, which range from their identity, personal stories, to their surroundings, as the head of creative arts told us.
I think for them, having only really seen it in a sketchbook or in a classroom or in that environment, to actually see it framed, displayed within the public and the community that they live in, it's a great way for them to feel that their artwork means more than just a bit of a scribble or a doodle or 4 or 5 hours of work here or there. It's a great way for them to actually see that outcome there in the real world for all to see.
The works are on display at the old police station until next Tuesday, the 9th of June.
Joelle Gilbert made history in Sofia this evening, scoring Gibraltar women's first ever competitive goal in their 3-1 defeat to Bulgaria. 11 games in the making, the moment finally arrived on Bulgarian soil.
And it's a shot on, and it's a goal!
And it was Gibraltar's most capped player and all-time top scorer who delivered a landmark night for a side competing in their first ever World Cup qualifying campaign. Gibraltar leave the Bulgarian capital with a moment that will go down in our history books. The team will go again in their final qualifier. They host Kosovo at the Europa Point Stadium on Tuesday. Kick-off at 7 p.m. And of course, it'll be live on GBC. More international football, and after Gibraltar's men won against the British Virgin Islands on Wednesday, they now look ahead to taking on the Cayman Islands. Here's Jose Mari Ruiz with the latest.
Lee Casiaro could hardly have wished for a better send-off. On his final outing for Gibraltar, he didn't get a goal but did help his side to their biggest victory to date, a 4-0 thrashing of the British Virgin Islands. An own goal followed by a strike from James Scanlon and a debut goal from Leon Mason meant Gibraltar led 3-0 at half-time. The man himself, Lee Casiaro, then set up Scanlon for his second of the game and final goal of the evening. Super Lee signing off with an assist, a guard of honour and a standing ovation. He'll now join Scott Wiseman and the technical staff ahead of tomorrow's friendly at Europa Point against the Cayman Islands. Kick-off at 7.
We have to enjoy these moments. We know they don't come few and far between. I think it's 10 over our 100 and something games that we've had victories. This is another one to it. We're now looking at maybe 6 games where we should really put a run together. What that run looks like, we'll look at December, but for now we've got a lot in front of us.
And some big transfer news to report on now. Gibraltar international player TJ DeBar has completed a move from Lincoln Reims to Serbian side OFK Beograd on a permanent deal for a historic undisclosed fee. The 26-year-old forward enjoyed a successful season with the Reims